Hello, folks, from an undisclosed bunker in the Ozarks that even Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know about. Actually, that's not true. I don't have a bunker. I know that's operational security, but I'm not going to lie. I mean, if I did have one, I probably just wouldn't talk about it. It's here in the Ozarks. It's so rocky. I don't even know. It'd be kind of a pain to put a bunker in around here. But anyways, welcome to the show tonight. It's a little drizzly outside. I think it's kind of winding down, but I don't know. But it's been a little off and on, rainy, drizzly this afternoon and evening, which I'm not going to complain. We need it around here. Let's go to the chat and see who is all here. We've got Orlando, Florida, saying that it's storming down there too. So it's not just here in the Ozarks, apparently. Mississippi, New Zealand, the People's Republic of Colorado, behind the enemy Democratic lines, of course. Montana, Northern Michigan, I guess, NM, I don't know, New Mexico, Northern Michigan, who knows? Snowy, so I guess Northern Mexico would be getting snow if that's northern or New Mexico. Kansas, Louisiana, Kentucky, Washington State, Nova Scotia. That is a beautiful area up there. I got a quick little story. A few years ago, well, it's been more than a few years ago, but I had the opportunity to lease some land up in Nova Scotia, and there was nothing on it. It was just land, and it was about 100 acres, and it was really cheap. It was an annual lease, and I could do whatever I wanted to on it, and it was right on a coast of an inlet there, and there are days that I kick myself. I mean, I understand that Canada doesn't have the freedoms. I mean, we're losing them left and right here in America. I get it, but it is so beautiful up there in Nova Scotia. So there's times I regret not jumping on that deal. Let's see here. Grandma Ginger is on the road to Alyssa's. Well, tell her that we said hi and we love her. Maine is here. FJB is here. South Central Virginia. Someone's in an Ozarks. Oh, no, in Pennsylvania, waiting to get to their Ozarks cabin. Let's see. Yeah, Rivka is MIA again. It's been a rough week here for her and everyone else, just about everyone else. Half the family has had this really nasty stomach, virus thing, just not pleasant. And so she's had that on top of dealing with hives. So it's been a rough week around here. Connecticut, Kentucky, Louisiana, Chicago, North Central Pennsylvania, Boston Tea Party. Today is the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. Oh, I didn't know that. Miami, Pennsylvania is raining too. Indianapolis, Ohio, Idaho. Jason Casper, thank you. Blessings to you, brother. Absolute blessings. Thank you so much. If any of you are interested in like day trading advice and some cryptocurrency advice, and then mixed in with like prepping and homesteading, go to Jason Casper, his YouTube channel. He's there in the chat. You'll see him. And that man, he's amazing. I did a show with him a few months back, and he is just a really solid guy. I was so impressed with him and what he's done. And so go check out his channel also, if you would. And a bunch of other people. Let's see. South Carolina, Bentonville, Arkansas, Texas, of course, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas. Boy, I'm so backed up here. Maryland, Mississippi, Tennessee. I'm just scrolling through kind of fast, and what I see, I say. Oklahoma, Oregon, West Virginia. Let's see, West Virginia. Wanted to recommend a podcast for your listeners. Not by Works Ministry with Pastor J.B. Hickson. I don't know anything about that. Moldy Soldiers in here saying that. So, Not by Works Ministry with Pastor J.B. Hickson. Never heard of it, but I will check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Daughter's family in St. Louis is fighting the flu. Yes, a lot of people are fighting flu bugs and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Richard Brown, for that super sticker. North Carolina, Wyoming, Chinada. I can't even pronounce that. I'm thinking that's Canada is what I guess. Now let's go over to the Rumble side and see what's over here. We got Willis, Texas, Wisconsin, Southern California, hot and dry there. Northeast Georgia. What is the whale picture for? What is the whale picture? Oh, so on your name over there on Rumble, there's a little whale icon. I have no idea. That's new. It's a new thing. It looks like over on the Rumble side, there's like a little whale icon next to people's names. I have no idea. Tennessee, Texas, Lantern of Liberty, and Everett are there. I need to go see you guys tomorrow. And Kentucky and Tennessee, all in the house. Thank you all for stopping in. Looks like a bunch of you. I do have a weekly news recap that we'll get to here in just a minute. And I also wrote down a few little show note things to just topics to go over. We don't have to go in length of talking about them, but they're there. So how has everyone's week been? Like I said, it's been a little busy but tiring here. Like I said, with my wife not feeling too good anyways, and then half the house got sick, and I don't want to go into the gross details, but the stomach bug, stomach flu stuff. So it's been a long week here at the homestead. But let's see. The usual torture, says John McGill. Like usual, listening but doing dishes, Nancy West says. I'm all up in that house, Travis. Rough one, says Sir Hunt a lot. On our way, Snowman says that they're in Texas for now, but on their way to the Ozarks. Well, look me up. So yeah, it's been one of those weeks here, but been busy too. A lot of things going on with news that, of course, keeps me busy because I have people all the time, sending me stuff, and I have to go through it. I have a few people that, I guess you could say it's contacts that I have developed for intel. Some of them they're just friends that knows things, and others they're just people that contact me with things. And so there's been a lot of that coming in, and that's kept me busy. And then we're doing a lot of stuff here locally with our community, a lot of plans that will expand beyond. I'm not going to give you all the details. If you want more details, I give more details over on locals. So if you go to thepreparedhomestead.com or .locals.com, let me say that again, thepreparedhomestead.locals.com. That's our membership side. And I do tell a little bit more about what we're doing as a local community here over on there. But, we have plans, and we're doing things that affect and strengthen our local community, meaning that our little prepper community. But then we're also expanding beyond that so that we can, mutually benefit just people around us, that we can be there to help our neighbors and stuff, because I know that seems like almost a radical concept amongst preppers, because the typical idea is that when it all hits the fan, the gate's going to be closed, and I don't care what happens outside that gate as long as it doesn't affect me. And I think that's something that's not going to happen. If you're in your neighborhood and you just focus on protecting your little lot, your house, and everything else goes to Hades in a handbasket, it's going to come to you too. But if you work together with those around you, whether you always like them or not, you may not believe exactly alike, you may not always like them. They're not necessarily in your inner circle. They're not part of your tribe. They're your neighbors, and you're willing to pull together. And so we're doing that kind of stuff too. Oh, this week it looks like we're talking about salt in the chat, asking about Redmond salt. But my wife's there, and she's all on top of all the natural stuff like that, so she can answer your questions over there on that. Let's see, my favorite program. Land in the so Hasumuti over on Rumble says from Southern California, caring for elderly parents, but have land and plans for Southern Missouri. That's a good idea. Southern California. No offense to anyone in Southern California, but that's not where I'd want to be right now. Moose Run Coffee. I think Moose Run Coffee is in the house. I think they're on the YouTube chat. If you're in the chat, Moose Run Coffee, drop a link to your website, mooseruncoffee.com. It's the official coffee of the Prepared Homestead. They are a wonderful, sweet family, and it's a little business that they have, and it's great stuff. It's organic, it's fresh. You know, it's not something that was roasted and then put on a Amazon shelf 6-9 months ago. It's good coffee. So, and it supports a small family. It's not supporting some big company. Like I said, it's all good stuff. mooseruncoffee.com. Anyways, seeing if there's anything that jumps out at me in the chat before we run on to the weekly news recap. Kind of scrolling back through. Looks like just conversation amongst the people and with my wife. My wife is in the chat. So if you want to say hi to her, you can do that in the chat. All right. Let's see. Oh, we got someone from South Africa. I've got a friend that's here in the States. She is originally from South Africa, but she, of course, now lives here in the United States. And boy, she tells me and another friend, we're friends. I'm friends with her through another friend, and that she sees the things happening in the United States now, and she's like, "This is what was going on in South Africa a few decades ago." She said, "It's like I'm reliving it by, growing up." And she's older than me. I don't know her age. It doesn't matter. But the point is that she lived in South Africa long enough to see things change there. And she's like, "Yeah, it's like I'm reliving it all over again, watching America kind of go down that same path." All right, let's get on with the weekly news recap. Something's not wrong. All right. Finally got it to work. Technical difficulties, I guess, around here. Have the weekly news recap. If you are new to the live stream throughout the week, I try as best as I can, but I'm one person, to write down or note things that's going on in the news that seems kind of pertinent to the collapse, to the World Economic Forum's Great Reset, to the Agenda 2030, just things like that. And I put them all together and read them off here at the live stream every Saturday. And so this week I have 45 items on the list. And well, I guess let's get started. Number one. Oh, and this is from Saturday to Saturday for you newcomers. So that's the week that I work off of. Number one, deadly tornado outbreak in and around Nashville, Tennessee, and Clarksville, all that area. Dozens ended up being injured and 6 killed the last time that I saw. Vista Outdoors is one of the largest ammo manufacturers in the country, warns of ammo prices increase due to global gunpowder shortages because of the wars in Ukraine and now in Israel and Gaza. So I know everyone says, yeah, we hear about this all the time, ammo shortages and ammo price increases. This is the vice president of one of the largest ammunition manufacturers in the world. So it's not like it's just some guy on YouTube or some guy on Twitter or whatever saying it. Attacks on U.S. bases in the Middle East soar past 90. So it keeps going on. I did see something today that there are talks, more aggressive talks about potentially, doing some raids. I guess they're actually moving military equipment and stuff around in position, another aircraft carrier in the Red Sea area, so that they could potentially do some, I would guess, some airstrikes there in Yemen and maybe a few other places. The Satanic Temple erects a satanic idol in the Iowa Capitol building. Many of you saw that. and it's been a big debate, a big debate online amongst believers. Well, we got to separate the church and state, right? I mean, that's what Thomas Jefferson said. It's right there in the Constitution, the separation of church and state. I hear that all the time. It's ridiculous. But anyways, there was a vet that tore it down, and now he's been arrested and charged. So, because we got to have satanic idols that we can worship in our state capitals. I mean, it's America, right? Alex Jones was reinstated to Twitter, or X. Not that probably anyone cares, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. Germany, their top military leader states that they must start preparing for a defensive war, that they believe that Russia is going to make a move on them at some point, and they need to start preparing for it. Hamas states that hostages won't live if the demands are not met, that they will in fact execute them. Zelensky makes a trip to D.C. this week to meet with Congress and with Biden to seek financial assistance. Now, that was a nice politically correct way of me writing that, to say that he came here groveling, begging for money, and it seems that he left in kind of a, got his feelings hurt and everything, that he didn't get what he wanted. But it's not over yet. I have no doubt that, it would not be surprising if they did pass some kind of 10 billion or 60 billion or whatever kind of spending thing for Ukraine. Al Gore, haven't heard that name in a while. He's the guy that invented the internet. Al Gore warns that alternative media, basically like here, what you're watching right now, that alternative media is a threat to democracy. Well, it's a good thing we're not supposed to have a democracy here in America, so let it threaten it. And when they say that, I've said this in a video before, when you hear these elites, these people say that, you got to read between the lines. It's a threat to what? Their democracy. It's kind of like, there's truth and then there's my truth, right? It's kind of the same way. Biden seeks to seize drug patents so that the government can produce them cheaper on certain critical drugs that are very expensive. He has proposed that the government actually seize those patents, and then the government turn around and reproduce them at a cheaper price. Now, there's a lot going on with this. Number one, obviously, what does the government have any business seizing? I'm not a fan or friend or anything of pharmaceutical companies. I'm extremely critical of them. But still, it's supposed to be a private business. It's supposed to be their own intellectual property, right? That's what the patent is. So what does the government have any business of taking that? It's basically stealing it. And then the ridiculousness that the government can actually can actually manufacture something cheaper, that they can turn a profit. I mean, or make it cheaper for us. That's just ridiculous. Anyways, the death toll in Gaza has passed 18,000. Over 5,000 illegals a day are being released into the United States. I'm sure that number is much, much higher. That is the official number that Border Patrol gave out. But yet at the same time that they're saying now that there are between 9 and 12,000 illegals crossing the border a day into the United States. So it's simple math, folks. If they're only releasing 5,000 into the United States and there's 9 to 12,000, that's between 4 and 7,000 people a day that's not being released. I mean, I know that there's holding facilities and stuff, but 4 to 7,000 a day, those holding facilities are going to explode in numbers very quickly. So I have a feeling that 5,000 a day is very underreported. So. Yeah, 6 Gunner Miller says they left off a 0. That's probably true. U.S. reports that China's cyber army is attempting to take down critical systems. That was all the big news last Monday or so, that it came out that China has unleashed its cyber army and they're trying to take down all our critical systems. Well, what are we doing about it? Like, what are we doing about it? That there's a foreign entity that is openly at war against us in the cyber world. I mean, and we're still, I don't know. It's a psyop, folks. That's what it is in the end. It's all a psyop. Yemen's Houthis struck a Norwegian commercial ship with a cruise missile this week. It caught fire, did some damage. Poland demands the free world to come and help Ukraine in its war against Russia. Well, they are doing that. They're begging for NATO, the West, and everything to continue supporting Ukraine in its war against Russia, because they fear that if Ukraine fails, then Russia's going to turn on them and they'll be the next one. So they're hoping that everyone, uses Ukraine as a fall guy. Let's see. Israel states that they are preparing for a war against the Palestinian Authority now. So not just Hamas in Gaza, but all of Palestine. Warren Buffett sells $28.7 billion in his stocks. He's the seventh richest man in the world. Ukraine hit with the worst cyber attack since the start of the war. America's large pharmacy chains admit that they willingly hand over pharmaceutical records to federal agencies without warrants on a regular basis. Now, let's just pause right now. This was an article in mainstream news, and it listed Walgreens and CVS and Kroger and all the other ones, all the big chains, that there was I think it was a Senate or a congressional inquiry, and they found out that all of these big ones, that they very regular, the FBI, the ATF, all these different federal law enforcement agencies will go there and ask that they give them records of people's pharmaceutical records. And they just, okay, here you go. And not just like one record, but whole batches with hundreds or thousands of customers. They get all of their pharmaceutical records. They say it's because of criminal investigations and stuff, but I'm sure that it would also be, I could see where it could also be used by the ATF to say, well, you're taking these kind of antidepressants or, whatever, these type of drugs, then you probably shouldn't qualify to get a firearm. I don't know that for certain, but I could certainly see that's happening. But what happened to HIPAA, where they're not supposed to do that? So anyways, just thought that I would throw that out, that you should be aware that when you go to these big, Amazon pharmacy, all the big ones were saying that, yes, they regularly just hand over their records to the federal government. So probably if you're on any kind of medicine, you might want to consider a small town, little mom and pop pharmacy. White House sends $200 million in funds to Ukraine. Multiple large groups of migrants have been reportedly headed for the U.S. border all this week. Almost every day this week, there have been reports and video of large groups of migrants in various areas throughout Mexico that are headed to the United States. Some of them, there are a few hundred, and some of them, there are in the thousands. And this shouldn't be a big surprise anymore at this point. The FBI and DHS warn of possible threats to public safety during the holiday seasons. They say there's an increased possibility of some type of terrorist attack this holiday season. The United Kingdom Committee on National Security Strategy warns that a major cyber attack could cripple the United Kingdom at any moment. Oh, that just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, right? A French frigate shoots down Houthi drone in the Red Sea, and also a U.S. Navy destroyer shoots down one. In fact, the United States Navy, along with the United Kingdom, shot down 14 drones this week there off the coast of Yemen. A movie trailer released for a new movie depicting a civil war in America is released as concerns grow that civil unrest is around the corner. And of course, many of you know about that. This movie called Civil War hasn't come out yet, so you don't know all the details. But it does appear that between that one and the previous movie last week on cyber attack, there was also another, I believe it was this week, trailer released of a movie coming out in a few months called ISS, the International Space Station. And it seems to be the premise is, while there's United States and Russian astronauts in the space station, that a nuclear war breaks out. And of course, they're up there looking down through the window and they watch nuclear war and half the planet fries. And then the drama ensues inside the space station. So, I don't know if it's just Hollywood capitalizing on the hype or if there's some predictive programming there. The United States House votes to open impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. Netanyahu states that they will not give into international pressure until they have a victory and Hamas is destroyed. Mortgage payments on new homes have risen 90% since 2020. Now, you heard that right. I went and checked because that seemed like a ridiculous number, but it is. So new mortgages, if you went and bought a new home today, or tried to buy that same new home 4 years ago, you're going to pay your monthly payment is going to be 90% more today. The International Monetary Fund reports that the world economy is on the brink of collapse. And everything's fine, right? Everything's fine. Bidenomics is working. Everything's fine. World economy is going to collapse. NATO chief warns of a real risk Putin would not stop with Ukraine if Russia is victorious. The IDF states that the war in Gaza could last several more months. Finland closes its border with Russia again. The European Union votes to open talks of allowing Ukraine to become a member. The United States dollar tumbles to a 4-month low. More reports of white lung syndrome emerge in the United States that's actually spreading. Russia warns NATO bases that are used to launch F-16s would become targets. The Border Patrol warns of 10 IEDs found along the border. It is an absolute war zone down there. It's not just 10, 12, 15,000 people a day coming across. There's weapons and fighting and IEDs and everything. Maersk, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's that big shipping company. Someone will correct me, probably my wife or many other people, but the big shipping company, the world's biggest, they have paused all shipping in the Red Sea because of the violence coming out of Yemen, the attacks on ships. The IDF kills 3 of their hostages. So 3 of their hostages, meaning their people that was taken hostage by Hamas. The IDF ended up killing them accidentally in a firefight. The Arizona governor, Katie Hobbs, has deployed National Guard units along the Arizona border to try to secure it and stop the flow of illegals. The homelessness rate has risen 12% this year. It is the highest it's risen in like almost 20 years. Biden signs the most restrictive offshore drilling measure in United States history this week. A massive X 2.8 solar flare heads to the Earth. It is the largest recorded since 2017. And last but not least, Russia claims to have struck NATO command center inside of Ukraine, killing several NATO troops. And there you have it, folks. The weekly news recap for the Prepared Homestead. So let's see here. It's pronounced Mersk. Okay. Johnny, I got it. Mersk. Sounds good. My wife is okay. She's in the chat just right below. She's been and she's had a stomach bug this week. Been sick with that. Still has the hives and all that kind of thing going on. So nothing really changed there. Homelessness is no joke. Glue your house to the basement. Yeah, the homelessness is just exploding, and it's going to explode even more. Katie Hobbs is a troll. She's an illegitimate governor. Carrie Lake should be. I get it. You're right. I agree with that, Ranger J. Let's see. Nothing but good news with Dems in charge. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Has she seen a doctor? Yeah. Oh, yeah. She sees a doctor. They've done multiple tests. She's been there 3 or 4 different times, and I'm speaking to Curtis, and at this point they can't definitively pick it out so they've just been trying things like, okay, stop eating this or change your diet in this way, or we'll try this, and so far nothing's working. Let's see. So New York Redneck says that you had I guess you're talking about the hives. You had yours for 5 months, so you can understand that. 10 pipe hits best. Oh, okay. Someone's talking, I guess, about marijuana. I have no opposition to marijuana. I just don't do it because I've tried it years ago and it gave me a crazy headache. And I know I've had people say, oh, it's because of the certain strain that you tried. And I didn't like it. I don't like being incapacitated. I don't like being high or drunk. I don't drink. Anytime I've ever been, when I had surgery, I've had a few surgeries and they give you pills. I stop taking them as soon as I possibly can because I don't actually like that that feeling of being high or something. That's just, I don't know. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's wrong for others to do it. I just don't enjoy it, so I don't do that stuff. And I'm big on herbs. I'm an herbalist myself. I've gone through the training and all that, but and I have no opposition to cannabis at all. Um, I don't think it's the wonder plant that some people say it is, but it's just not for me. So who has Epstein's black book? That's a good one. Um, that's a good one. Maybe Hillary does. I don't know. Let's see. What else over here on the Rumble side? It's Danish. It's pronounced Meriksk. Meriksk. I get, yeah. Lantern of Liberty would be the expert. Not only is he like a grammar guru, but he's Swedish, so he would know. Um, all right, just reading over there. Well, whoops. Sorry about that. I put some things on the screen. I didn't mean to. Just some chats. I wanted to go over. Yeah. Again, people are talking about cannabis, right? I don't have any opposition. I don't think cannabis is the no side effect cure all, herb that has been told by a lot of people for the last decade or two. It has some side effects. It has some negative side effects. It doesn't fix everything. It's not for everybody. There are ways that it can be beneficial to you, and there are ways that it cannot. But I have no problem with it necessarily. It's just not something. I mean, it's no different than anyone that's an herbalist. That there are some herbs that work great for some people, and they are horrible for another person. I've come to realize the couple of times that I tried cannabis, it did not work for me. I did not enjoy it, and I wasn't taking it for a high. I had brain surgery, I had brain and spinal surgery, and I was in an immense amount of pain. And instead of reducing the pain, it gave me this horrible headache, and I just didn't like it. So, and I don't have any interest in doing it to get high. Like I said, I don't like to get high, so that's why I don't drink hardly at all ever. Dig your stream deeper and stock with some edible fish. Um, I've actually thought about, on the property, cutting out and digging a pond and kind of at least part of the stream, rerouting it through that pond. All right, I wanted to go through these are just some things that's been in the news. I didn't put them in the news brief because that's more of like official news. Some of this is just intel, things like that I thought I'd throw out there. And, if anyone wants to talk about it, you can. The first thing, uh, it's an inappropriate subject. I'm sure most of you have seen it. Travis is a massive pothead. Ha ha ha. Um, I'm not going to go into the detail because I know a lot of you watch with children, but obviously, most of you probably know that there was a video released yesterday or today of a guy in the Senate chambers, uh, doing naughty things, gay things in the chamber. I haven't watched it. I've seen the news stuff on it, but I refuse to watch it. I don't really care about going into that. But the point is that, well, I mean, this administration is turning the White House and, Congress and everything. The Democrat run, far left run administration is turning it into Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, I listed off just a few things. A few things. We had the whole, trans month whatever thing, and we had the topless trans people dancing around at the White House. Remember that? We've been seeing this push of military, uh, of the military in drag. Someone is Bear a friend? I don't know if yeah, I know Bear. We've talked a few times. We're not close. We live several hours away. Um, but yeah, I know Bear Independent TJ. In fact, I remember we talked, because he started his channel just a little bit before I did. but we were both really small. I was smaller than, in numbers than him, but we were both small channels, like under 10,000 subscribers or something. And we were talking on the phone then, but now he's busy, I'm busy, so we don't, talk really anymore. Not that we have a problem. But anyway, so we've got military and drag. That's been a big thing. They've been pushing that. Um, of the military. We see them where they're actually paying influencers online. These are people that are in the military. Maybe they're in the Navy or the Air Force, the Army. I haven't seen any in the Marines, but maybe there are. And so they're current, service members, and then they have a TikTok channel, and so they pay them to get on there and do drag and to promote, trans ideology in the military. We have officers. You've seen the officers in their dog mask, the furry, whatever that's called. I don't even care about it. I don't want to go into it, but it's definitely deviantly sexual based. We have a trans admiral, not necessarily military admiral, but a health department admiral that we all know about. We had that guy that was the gay cross dresser. Or whatever. I don't even know how to describe him, but he was in the nuclear agency, that scientist or whatever, and then he ended up getting busted for stealing people's luggage. The point is that when Biden got into office, or before, I think it was actually when he was campaigning, he said that they were going to bring back dignity and all that kind of stuff to the White House. And obviously that's not true, right? Did you see the Christmas video that they released, the White House Christmas video, where they're tap dancing around as they go through the video? I honestly didn't have an opinion either way about, I guess, the whole dancing in the White House. Mostly what I thought is that it was poor quality. And this isn't a knock to any high school or college, but it just looked like they went and got some local high school, dance class, or even a college dance class, and dressed them up. They weren't. I'm not a dancer at all. I don't dance, period, like at all. But I've seen enough to know that did not look very good quality. But it's just, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they went to, Sam Britton, and that's the guy from the nuclear agency, Sam Britton, the one that stole the luggage, and Rachel Levine, which is his new name, whatever it is. I don't remember his real name. Bring back the General Lee. Well, speaking of that, Paul Thompson, um, they are removing Confederate a statue out of Arlington Cemetery. They announced they're removing that. Remember when Hillary, when Michelle Obama, I'm sorry, it's just a Freudian slip. When Michelle Obama said that they were going to change history, that they were going to have new traditions, change tradition, and change history. Well, we're seeing that happen right before our eyes, folks. We're seeing that happen oh yeah, the Easter Bunny tweaking. Yeah, the Easter Bunny tweaking. The Easter Bunny was twerking on the White House lawn. Remember that on Easter? Because they're bringing decency and dignity back to the White House, right? Devil worship dancing, someone says. Practical Civilian says Michael Obama was correct, or is correct saying that. I don't even know if you can say that with the censorship. Travis never tap dance on the Shabbat. Yeah, I don't dance, period. I just don't dance. You can ask my wife. She's always on me. Can we dance? I'm like, dancing is like, all right, there we go. We danced. It's because, and this isn't, I grew up in a religious home that dancing was bad. I'm not saying that's how I believe. I'm just saying I grew up, how I grew up, it was very conservative religion, and you didn't dance. Like, dancing was from the devil. And so I never did it. And it's not that I'm have anything against dancing. I just never did it, and I don't know how. So let's see. Solar independent utility systems can do wiring. Yes. In fact, I am I didn't get it done this week. That was you know how it is sometimes, especially for you homesteaders. But I mean anyone, even if you're not a homesteader, but you know, you have this idea in your head of a project you want to get done, and it's kind of more for you. It's not, I mean, it may be beneficial to the family, but you want to get it done. And then when you don't get it done, you're frustrated. And that was me this week. My truck with that commercial cap that I've talked to you about, how I'm going to turn it into kind of an emergency response vehicle for our group. I'm putting solar in that, putting solar panels on the top, battery, power inverter, wiring it all up inside. And I was planning on having it all done this week. And the only thing I got done was mounting one solar panel. That's how far I got. So, did we dance when we got married? Yes, but I, it wasn't a lot of, I don't, I don't really do. Me and Pinball should have a dance off. He would probably beat me. I just don't dance. I can stand there and sway, you know? That's about it. Oh, is someone Oh, is that right? Solar independent utility systems, Viva building your own. Okay, I missed all that. The thing's moving so fast. That's why I have my wife around to keep me in line and to stay on top of the comments. Well, I appreciate that. He was arrested. I don't know who you're talking about. Probably that guy. I'm sure Travis could bust a move. Thanks, Ranger J. That is not true at all. But thanks for the vote of confidence, brother. He's sending me. Well, thank you. I never can remember it. The Solar Independent Utility Systems Manual. I say this all the time. I'll put his name up there. The Solar Independent Utility Systems Manual. That's the name of it. I believe you can find it on Amazon. It's a book that he wrote. I have one, but it's not in here. Yeah, I have one, but it's not over. It's not here. I'll grab it sometime on maybe the next show if I can remember. I'll grab it and I'll show you folks. Um, anyways, let's see. Where are we? So Joe is asking he's got a fold out cot and backboard. That would, yeah, the backboard is what I'm wanting to get on it so that I can for medical emergencies. Do I know what the Ben Gurion Canal project is in Israel? Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of theories that Israel is wanting to build their own canal to circumvent the canal there in for Egypt. I can't goodness, my mind just went blank. Butter cookies. I see you keep saying butter cookies. But anyways, so Israel's wanting to build their own canal, and if they do, it's going to go right through Gaza. And so there's a lot of belief that the reason why Israel's doing this so they can take over and they can build this canal. But yeah, I see the butter Suez. Why couldn't I remember that Suez Canal? Yes. Okay, if you emailed me and I must have missed it, I'll go back through my emails. I've been getting a lot here lately. It's just kind of overwhelming, but I will. Eden Acres. I'll go back through and I may have missed the email. Well, obviously I did. If you said you emailed me and I didn't see it. It will end a peace treaty with Egypt. Yes, that's true. Butter cookies they're bad for me, but I like them. Okay. Butter cookies are bad for me, but I like them. Also, I received intel from a listener that lives in Estonia. That this is an Estonian that lives in Estonia. They said that there are rumors there going around that they, meaning Estonia, will be deploying troops to either Poland or Finland by the end of February. I can't confirm that. They can't confirm that. They said that there's, people on the internet and stuff talking about that. It may be nothing, but I thought I'd throw that out there. Russia claims that it has intel that the United States and Ukraine, are working on a new virus together. Not a vaccine, but a new virus together. Now, that is just what they're saying. So, I YouTube censors, I'm not saying it's true. I'm only reporting what Russia claims. We all know that Russia lies all the time and the United States tells the truth. So for you YouTube censors, remember that. Russia lies, the United States tells the truth, so it's probably not true, right? All right. UFOs are back on in the spotlight a little bit. This week, Tucker Carlson made a video stating that he knows things about UFOs and aliens that are so scary that he can't talk to his own wife about them, so that they are very dark and spiritual things. There was also some other, I didn't write it down here, and I can't remember the source that I read it. But anyways, there was another someone online claiming that they believe that there're going to be some big alien disclosure going on, probably February or March. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows if that's true? There are also rumors that Donald Trump is talking to Nikki Haley about a VP position. I guess he invited her over for dinner, is what the scuttle is saying. So, yeah, Nephilim is right. Moose Run, they're Nephilim. But anyway, so Donald Trump potentially had those of you, the ones that on here that aren't going to vote and don't support Donald Trump, don't worry about it. I get your opinions because I'm there. But those of you that still support Donald Trump and would vote for him, how do you feel about Nikki Haley running on the same ticket with him? A lot of people online said that if he did that, they would stop supporting him. They would not vote for him. So I don't know. That's just, yeah, I wish I could, it was on Twitter, and it came from a fairly legitimate account, and they were saying that, that he had invited Nikki Haley over, and they were pointing out that up until now, Nikki Haley, and I haven't watched a single debate. I just don't care. So I'm only reporting what I've heard. But that I guess Nikki Haley has not yet criticized Donald Trump at all. She's only focused her attacks on DeSantis and others. Vic Sami Wabi, whatever his name is. And so the belief is that Trump is going to pick her because she's a girl and she's a moderate and all that. So, yeah, so you could have, she's a WEFer. So that's the scuttle. I don't know. And then last but not least on my little, this isn't the news. This is more of the tabloid news. But this isn't tabloid. This last one, it's actual news. The House passes an $886 billion defense bill. And the big thing is, I mean, obviously that's bad enough, $886 billion on military spending, but it also includes an extension of the FISA Warrant Act, which, the FISA warrants where they can spy on you. Familiar with those? It extends those. It was that legislation was supposed to come to an end, and it was extended. Someone says Vivek Ramaswamy. One party commie system. I agree with that. She's a saboteur, someone says. Someone else says it's all a game anyways. Yeah. Blessed Man in Rumble says no on Haley. Expands. That's right. Expands. I should have said that. It doesn't just extend it. It expands FISA. So the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, it expands it. What is my EDC? My EDC typically is a Canic, but I also run a Glock 19. The Glock 19, it's a little lighter. It all depends on the situation. So I personally don't care. I know the big thing online and a lot of the gun channels and stuff is, concealability and all that. Where I live, I don't care. There are very, very few times that I go anywhere that I really need to be worried about concealing a weapon. I may just, like here, I've got this shirt. right? And so I may just kind of flip it over it to cover it a little bit. But I don't really care if someone sees the imprint. I just don't, because of where I'm at. I get that, oh, that's dangerous. Someone knows you have a gun. A bad guy knows you. Where I'm at, everybody has guns. Everybody's got a gun. You see people all the time with a gun. So I don't really care about carrying little small pocket pistols and stuff for concealability. But I have a Canic, which is a big gun, and it's got a light and all that kind of stuff. If I'm out, it's better. It's more capable of defense because it's got the light, it's got all the stuff. The Glock 19 is smaller, a little lighter. It doesn't have anything on it. It's just a plain old stripped down Glock 19, and it's a Glock 19. It's a Gen 4, so I don't really worry about getting it tore up. So that's what I typically wear around the house, like when I'm doing farm work and stuff, and I don't want to scuff it, and I'm doing things, and I don't want it to weigh my pants down or whatever. It's usually a Glock 19 Gen 4. So, anyways, someone asked that. No on Haley. So yeah, I don't think too many people really are interested in Nikki Haley. Tombstone, we were all packing. That's how it is around here. Everywhere you go, you see guns. Even the Walmarts are around here. The one closest to us. It's a small town Walmart, and they have a sticker on there. And I think it's their national Walmart policy, that open carry is not allowed. You can only conceal carry. Everybody open carries there. I mean, everybody open carries. Eden Aker says that he loves his G3, Taurus G3. I do too. I've never been a big Taurus fan. They've had their issues over the years, but they've gotten a lot better. But they are nailing it with their Taurus, the G3 and the G4. But I've got a G3C, and I wouldn't have any problem carrying that as my only EDC. It's a good weapon. Yeah, Nikki Haley is Mitt Romney in a dress. Absolutely. Yep. Watch Leave It All Behind today. I vote for alternative ending. Yeah, that's right. So that movie, Leave It All Behind, that's the one the Obamas produced that's about the cyber attack that everything collapses. If you want to watch it, watch it. I don't care. It is liberal garbage, okay? It is this kind of just the whole, I don't even, because I'm not a big film buff kind of guru guy, but the whole mood of the film is like one of those indie type films. I bet it probably didn't, other than maybe paying the salary of the actors, it couldn't have cost more than $50,000, $100,000 most. It all takes place in a house pretty much. It's this long drawn out slow dialogue kind of thing. F word is about every fourth or fifth word in the movie. It's very, very woke liberal. All right. So you just get it all out of there. You know that. You should expect that. It's a movie produced by the Obamas on Netflix. But that's not why most people are watching it. Most people are watching it to see what their opinion is of what's going to happen with a cyber attack and collapse. And when I watched it, I was mostly interested in is how they portrayed the reaction of the people, right? That I wanted to see how they portrayed people reacting to it. That's really what I cared about seeing. Yeah, Nancy says never saw it, glad it didn't. And that's fine. It's, you're not going to miss anything if you don't watch it. And there's enough people that's watched it and made videos about it that you probably don't need to see it anyways. But yeah, definitely don't watch it with children around. There's a 12 or 13-year-old girl in it, and she's just dropping the F-bomb every scene. I'm thinking, who lets their 12, 13-year-old child talk like that in front of their parents, right? She's talking. It's just, anyways. But what do you expect from the Obamas and Julia Roberts and in Ethan, whatever the guy, the actors? They're all a bunch of known crazy left-wing liberals. Anyways, what's a good hammerless revolver? I'm not a wheel gun guy anymore. I've had a few. Smith and Wesson and Rugers are excellent. The Smith and Wesson, if you're okay with a little bit of kick, but I can't remember the model. Someone can help me out. They're little hammerless, lightweight 38. Those they have a Ethan Hawke. Thank you. My wife correct filled me in. Oh, and Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon was pushing the mask and the pokey poke really big during the whole pandemic stuff. This can provide lights, running water anywhere. Thank you so much, Solar Independent Utility Systems. Thank you so much. Yeah, Ladysmith Airweight, is yeah, the Smith& Wesson 38s. You know, a lightweight full 42, I'm not opposed to revolvers, and they do make, you can get, like, 7 and 8 shot 357 revolvers now, so you do have more rounds. Um, they they malfunction less, okay? So you have less malfunctions with a revolver, but when they do malfunction, it's typically catastrophic, and it's not something that you can fix in the field, okay? Do you understand that? So, like with a semi-automatic, a Glock, or anything like that, you may have a stovepipe where the shell gets caught up, it didn't eject, or you have a double feed. Yes, it stops you in that moment, but if you train, the vast majority of failures on a semi-automatic can be fixed very quickly, like right then and there in the heat of a firefight, tap rack and shoot. Whereas with a revolver, it's much less likely to have a malfunction because it's just a simple wheel turning and bullets going through it. It's a lot simpler. But when you do have a malfunction, which they do happen, where the wheel gets hung up and doesn't turn or something like that, it's usually much more catastrophic and very unlikely that you're going to fix that within a few seconds right there as you're in a firefight. That's the problem with wheel guns, in a lot of ways. I think revolvers are, um, I think they're fine for like a backup. Like if you want to have a primary EDC that you're carrying, and then you want to have a little wheel gun on your ankle or something like that, I think that's fine. But yeah, a lot of the ladies, Smith& Wesson is very famous and well known for their Ladysmith, their little airweights, the little 38s that ladies really like. And then a lot of other people, Ruger LCP2, FN57, Glock 43, Sig P238. A lot of people giving their opinions of their probably EDCs is what I'm assuming that these are all their ED. I mean, I know what weapons that they're referencing. Uh, what's a Glock after a fire? Glunk. But and the thing is, this topic comes up. I think it was even last week on Firearms. Find something that works well for you, something that fits in your hand. Um, some places, hopefully, you can find places that you can either rent a firearm. There are certain ranges, like firearms ranges, that you can go and rent firearms. So if you're totally new, if you've never shot before, I would recommend doing that. Or if you have a friend that has some guns, of letting them having them let you shoot some of their firearms. If you're familiar with firearms, at least somewhat, then just go and try them out in your hand, you know, and just worry about what works for you. And yes, there are some differences in quality, but for the most part today, the standards are high enough that most handguns across the board are acceptable enough. Okay. I know that some people's going to very much disagree, but most handguns today are good enough for EDC. There are a few exceptions, but that's pretty rare. But yeah, get out there and practice, practice, practice. And if you're part of a group, if you're part of a mag, it does make sense to have uniformity in your group so that you're all running, say, a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 or a Glock 43 or, a SIG or whatever. That does make sense. So you have interchangeability in your magazines and your ammo and stuff. Desert Coyote says, does anyone have a Canic? Yes, I run a Canic. I really, really like Canics. They're amazing firearms, and the price, you just cannot beat them. And everyone that has ever like disagreed or thought can't, like, oh, I don't want that foreign junk, and then they go shoot them, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So yeah, Canics are pretty good. And you can't, they're basically, think of a Glock. You buy a Glock and you send it off to some gunsmith, and they turn it into kind of like a Gucci Glock. They drop a fancy trigger in it, better hammer, do all this stuff. That's basically what you get with a Canic, except they run between $100 and $200 cheaper, um, brand new, than a Glock. So anyways, all right, it has been an hour. And yeah, Wild Goblin over in Rumble says, a gun is just a gun. Training makes it a weapon. That's right. You need to train with your weapon. And if you aren't able to go to a live fire range, look up online of ways that you can train in your house without ammunition in it. There are also systems that you can take your EDC and you can put like a laser round. So you take a live round out. There's no live round in the weapon, but there's a type of laser, cartridge you put in so that you can do some training in your home. There are things you can do that. And then there are just drills that you can do where the weapon's empty. There's no rounds in it. There's no risk of shooting anything, but at least you can do drawing and cycling and things like that. It's not as good as going out to a live fire range, but you should be practicing. What I find with most people when they're fairly new and fairly green with firearms, it's not so much that they can't develop the ability to shoot, adequately, right? You can hit a man-sized target at 15 feet. I mean, that's basically like the extent of what you're trying to do with self-defense. And it's usually not even 15 feet. 15, 20 feet is going to be about the furthest you're going to really have to shoot someone for the most part in a self-defense scenario. It's not that hard to hit a man-sized target at 15, 20 feet. What I find is that most people that are new, they are very insecure, and they're very nervous with that firearm. They yes, you have to respect it in a way that it can injure or kill you or someone else, but on the other hand, it's not this like delicate piece of, and people they're like really nervous about handling it. They're unsure of how to handle it. They're unsure about how to load it and, rack the slide, disassemble it, all this kind of stuff. And I tell people, when you get a firearm, make sure it's unloaded, check it several times, whatever, make sure it's unloaded, and then just get comfortable with it. Get comfortable with using it, get comfortable with holding it, with putting a magazine in, with unloading it, taking it apart. Become so comfortable with that firearm that it's just second nature to use it and to hold it and to carry it. And I think that goes a long way, because I see so many people, they go from purchased a firearm to, okay, I'm only going to train shooting at a piece of paper, and they don't take any time to become familiar and comfortable and confident with that weapon. If you're going to carry that weapon all the time to defend yourself during a threat, it needs to be something that it's not just that you're accurate enough to use it. You need to be comfortable with it, so that you're comfortable with how it works. You're comfortable, when there's a malfunction, all that. So that's, a lot of people, they don't carry, they haven't carried, they've never carried. And it seems so awkward to them. And so, yes, you need to train with it, but you need to become familiar with your weapon and know how to do clearing drills, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that you can do at home, sitting on your couch. With it unloaded. You don't have to do everything just at a range live fire. So there are things like that. But anyways, I am going to get off of here for the night. Remember, mooseruncoffee.com. Good people, great coffee. Jason Casper, YouTube channel. If you want to know anything about day trading, market stuff, Bitcoin, all that kind of stuff. Super, super great guy, good family man. And then also, goodness, I keep forgetting your book, but the solar book, um, the one that he sent me, and I've talked about it before, but it's been a while. I should probably grab the book and pull it out. But anyways, you can go back and there it is. I'm just gonna this guy, Solar Independent Utility Systems Manual. You can find that on Amazon. Um, and that way you can learn about independent solar utility systems. If you want to hook up a small utility solar system in your home, that's a book is going to help you through that. All right, folks. Thank you all tonight. It's been fun, and you guys are. An old man once said, "Oh, go, the thing. Yeah, the thing. The thing. Is there a live tomorrow? We will try that. Man, the last few Sundays, there's been stuff coming up, so we haven't been able to do a live stream on locals, but we're going to try tomorrow to do a live stream on locals. And if my wife doesn't feel up to it, I'll do the live stream on locals, one way or the other. I do have a few things, and I can't remember what now that I was going to do tomorrow. There's something I was going to do tomorrow, but still, I'll figure it out and I'll do that. But we should still be able to do a live stream tomorrow over on Locals. If you want to join Locals, that's our private member area. I put out extra content over there, completely separate than here. It's more personal, that kind of stuff. It is the preparedhomestead.locals.com, thepreparedhomestead.locals.com. All right. Thank you, Crawford777. Appreciate that. And all of you have a good evening. May the Father bless you. Keep us in your prayers and just keep prepping. That's what you got to do. Keep getting your houses in order. Do not stop. Don't slow down. It's not the time to take a break. Get mentally, physically, and spiritually prepared, folks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.